So hello, everyone. So another afternoon, and in this case, I'm gonna interview a very, very close friend of mine, and her name is Sally Green, and she's the vice president of Action Takers Publishing. As you can see, we have another jewel here. Get done.
Hey,
We don't want to be banned by
right.
anybody. So
Get it
here's the new
done.
book. Yay! So today we have our amazing friend Sally, and she, besides being the vice president of this incredible company with Linda Sunshine West, she's also a list maniac. She loves to make lists. She does lists for everything, and that's why she wrote a whole chapter about Rockin My List. And now my question is, why Rockin My List?
Yeah, that's what keeps me organized. And I remember even as a kid sitting down and making lists of, like why I like this boy, yes or no, what I liked about him, what I didn't like about him. And if one column of lists was longer than the other, then, okay, then that was the guy, so, but sitting and making out a list of things that I need to do, of groceries, of and I even do like chores around the house. Like I'll make a list of and say, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do the kitchen, and then I'm going to do the bathroom, and then I'm going to do this, and I have like my whole house cleaning list. And then so it's just what we're going to have for dinner, what I'm going to do at the grocery store. And then even like with the business, I make a list of, when we're in meetings, I'm listing who's in the meeting and what I need to say to them. So that for me keeps my brain organized, is having those lists. And it's been something that I've done since I was a kid. And as we were talking about, getting it done, I was like, well, what is it that helps me to get stuff done? And it is those lists, because being able to sit there and say, okay, this is what I'm, and not all of the time, I use them, because a lot of times I'll put on my list that I'm going to cook this for dinner, and then I come home and I don't want that, so
Right.
I don't it's not that I'm staunch that, okay, I have to do what's on my list. But it just gives me a direction and helps me to figure out what's next in my life. So.
Wow. And it gives you a peace of mind as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it helps me to, to know exactly, okay, what am I going to do next? And, that, helps my brain, I think.
That's awesome, because in my case, I do lists, but they're so long that I can never finish them. Just by looking at them, I know it's a mission impossible, like the movie, because sometimes I don't know how to create a list. And I'm sure that you give some tips on your chapter in the book. So I don't want you to give it all. Just if you can share with the audience a little bit, something that they can just taste the chapter and then go and get the book, right?
Exactly. Well, and it's not so much things that you need to check. Sometimes it's like doable things, like, all right, I'm gonna go grocery shopping today, or I'm going to clean the bathroom today, that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that that you're going to do anyway. I'm going to brush my teeth, whatever, so you have that. Okay, I accomplished something, I can check a couple of these things off. So it's just making sure that you stick to something, that you do something that's going to help you go get it done, get the stuff done.
Right.
Making those lists for me is what helps me out.
That's awesome. I'm sure that it will help me if I known how to make doable list, which I'm sure I'm going to learn by reading your chapter. I can't wait to receive the copy. I'm waiting. I'm just excited, just waiting for those copies to get to me sooner than later. So let me ask you, what was the reason that you decided to do what you're doing right now? Because I know that you met Linda and then you actually was like love at first sight, between the two of you. You said, I want to work with you, I want to work with you, and bam, it was a great society. I mean, you really do things better for the business for Linda, and Linda does better for you. So what is the thing that you're most passionate about what you do, and why you decided to say yes to go into all this publishing and helping so many women to actually have their dream come true,
Well, being a writer has always been something that since I was a little girl that I always wanted to write. I loved reading, escaping into books. When I was younger was my way of dealing with the stuff that was going on. And so I loved reading. And I couldn't wait to, I was like, I would always write stories, even when my daughter was small, I would write stories for her. We would make up things and we would do mysteries and all kinds of different things. And so writing has always been on, writing a book. And actually I had a book that I did like probably 20, 30 years ago. And I had it up on my thing. One day I'm going to write a book, and I took a piece of paper, folded it up, made it into a book. I said Sally's book, and I had it sitting up there for a long time on my
Wow.
dresser. And so when I started this journey, this was back in 2020, it was during COVID. One of the first things I got offered was to write in a collaboration book. And this was before I didn't know Linda. And I jumped at the chance. I was like, I always wanted to write, this is my chance. And so I got into this book, it was called One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success. I got into the book, and there was 150 of these highly successful entrepreneurs and me. And I was like totally out of my element. But I loved all the people, and I was like, how can I leverage this opportunity? And so I reached out to every single one of the authors and sent them friend requests and said, hey, we're in the same book together. What do you got going on? And Linda was one of those people that was in the book. And so I reached out to her. She was doing these weekly networking events. So I started attending those. And I just loved the people that she was attracting. I loved the people that were in there. I was networking with them. I was connecting with them. I was adding them into my Facebook groups and stuff. And so, when she started, she asked if anybody wanted to be in the 2 books that she was publishing. Now, at that point, I had been in 2 of the One Habit books already, and then she was putting 2 books together. So I said, yeah, I want to do that. So I signed up to be in her 2 books. And then I hired her to help me create my own business, because I wanted to. I was like, well, everyone's talking about coaching. Maybe I could be a coach. Right. So I hired her to help me coach. And so I was in the 2 books with her. She was helping me create a business. And one night we were on a Zoom and we were talking, and I said, you seem a little stressed. I said, can I help you with the publishing of these books? What do you need? I said, I'm really good at the tech stuff. I can maybe do some of the marketing stuff for the authors, or if you want me to talk to some of the authors, I could do that. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, you got me into this book and you've done so much for me. Let me help you out. So I started by doing a couple of the marketing things, and then I looked at her website and I said, you mind if I go in there and tweak it a little bit? So I went in there, I tweaked her website a little bit. And then, and it was just because she had helped me so much that I wanted to do something nice to her. So about 2 weeks after we launched those books, both books became international bestsellers. And she reached out to me about 2 weeks later, and she said, I love doing the publishing. I love working with you. Do you want to do this as a business and do this together? And so I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Because I was like, I knew that it was, I was passionate about it. I loved what she was doing. She, and I kind of really meshed. We got along great, and we kind of have the same like quirky, crazy sense of humor. Which, we get the squirrel syndrome, and sometimes like in business, that's not good because we both kind of go off on our little tangents sometimes, and it's like, we're like, oh, what were you talking about? What are we supposed to be meeting about? So, but it works, so we've been doing this now for not even 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September that she made that call,
Wow.
and together we've published over 22 books.
Woo! And all of them are
And all of them are
bestseller.
international
International bestseller. Oh my
international bestseller.
goodness. So
Every single one of them. So
so
we
you two
figured out,
together really, figure it out.
yeah. So by herself, she was doing this, but she had been doing it for like 4 or 5 years. She published her book, she published her own collaboration book, and then she did these two on her own. So she had about 4 or 5 years, she published 4 books. But in the last 2 years, we've done 20. I think it's 24.
Yeah, no,
We're up to 26 books by the end of August.
I do believe that when you have the right partner, everything gets easier, and it's good because we can do it by ourselves, but there's nothing compared to have a partner that you can really share, and you have your stuff, like you are a tech guru and you know how to do everything on the computer, and and Linda is incredible as well.
Right.
So you both are.
Well,
and
she's got
actually,
the organizational, stuff down.
Yeah.
She knows, she has all the systems and the organization, and she's really, really good at that. Where I'm a lot more of like the creative side, and and we both come up with the ideas, because I'll message her at I'll wake up at 3 a.m. with an idea, and I'll just text her, I got an idea.
I know. I had the pleasure to be on a weekend in Las Vegas with these two ladies, Linda and Sally, and we had a blast. And we worked a lot that weekend. I mean, it was really, and seeing the two of you, working, and then it was like sparkles in the air. And I asked a question, and then you and Linda, both of you have different ideas, and at the same time, all of them so powerful. So for me, it was a pleasure to be working with the two of you. I've known Linda for years, and I adore her. And the great thing is that how long were you working together without even knowing yourself, each other in person?
Oh, I mean, we met in Vegas for the first time with you. And at that point we were, it was just a little over a year that we were together, that before. And that was my first time flying in 26 years. I had my own business here, so getting away and go on a vacation was never an option. And if we did, we would take a long weekend, and we would just drive up to Vermont. I live in Connecticut, so we would drive 4 or 5 hours and stay somewhere and then come home. So flying wasn't anything that we did, because number one, we couldn't afford it, and number two, we had our own business, and if you have your own business and you want to plan a vacation, you got the money that you're spending on the vacation plus the money that you're losing from the business.
Absolutely, yes.
Especially if it's a job that you have to be there to make the money.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I love it, and what I want everybody to see is that this action takers is not just just words. You and Linda, you both are action takers. Like, you were like, how can I help you? And what can I do? And you started getting into action. And that's what it brought you the opportunity to be part of this action takers publishing. And now I'm sure you're happier and you're much more fulfilled and having all this love insights to share with everybody. And I feel that a lot of things happen because actually you did the work. Like, you started messaging all the authors. And this is what I learned from what you were saying, is that if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. Exactly. So for you, the viewers, I'm going to invite you to take action and get this book, because how many chapters?
There are 26 chapters. 26
chapters. So you're going to have tips on time management, on list, on inner work, on love. My chapter is called Love Matters. So you're going to have tips on that as well. So you're going to have tips from everybody in all the areas of your lives. And those are life stories and life learned stories. It's like everything we know, we are putting into one chapter. So my invitation is to get it now and start reading it, because it's going to help you in all the areas of your life, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I love the idea of this book because that's what it is. It's the tips, the tools, the techniques that you need to get stuff done, and you know, everyone has their own little way of doing things, and so you may not, you know, writing lists may not be something that you are, you know, are privy to or that you want to do, but you're going to find something else in here that's going to work for you because there's 26 different authors here who sharing their, you know, their time management and their love tips and their romance tips and their, you know, parenting tips. So it's
Oh yeah.
everything that you need in here, there that will help you in, you know, in your life. So that's what I love about, especially this book. You know, this is one of my favorites, and I love the cover design. Linda and I came up
Oh
with
yeah.
that idea.
Oh
You
yeah. The
know, and
cover design
so
is so good, and the name, you know, it was hard
right.
for me to make Linda saying a bad word, you know,
I know.
but I love
She
it.
still
I
won't
love it.
say.
Yeah, she still won't say it, but I know she put it on the cover of a book. You know,
Right,
that's really
right.
amazing. But there's no other way to say it. You know, one of the things that I think inspired Linda to use that title is that at long ago, before COVID, you know, we used to say before Christ. Now it's before COVID, you know, and after COVID. Before COVID, we had this mastermind when we all got together in person at Linda's home. It was called GSD, you know, and it was so good because I mean, Linda was was my first coach here in USA when I moved from Argentina. So it was so good because we would mastermind and would brainstorm. It was all women around, and I loved it. So when that title came up, I say I'm gonna be in, because for me it was the beginning of everything. So let me ask you, you know, if you would share, because you know you wrote this chapter about list and what it means for you. It's like you started when you were a little kid, but I'm sure that now as an adult you see the list in a different way. So maybe there's something that you want to share with the audience, like your last words, or you know, something that they can take with them. And I will encourage them to really, you know, create those lists just to be more, you know, in peaceful with their lives.
Well, sometimes it's just getting it out of your brain and out and through you and onto the paper. You know, a lot of times it's just a brain dump. And I think that's for me, that's what I think a lot of, even when I sit down to write my list, it's I need to know what I'm doing today, and I need to get it on paper so that I'm a visual person so I can see it, you know, as opposed to just in my brain now going through the day and saying, oh, what do I need to do? What, you know, so, but I think that's a lot of that is healing. A lot of that is, you know, getting stuff through you helps you to heal, helps you to grow, helps you to get things done and get stuff done. And it's that brainstorming session. It's that sitting down and getting everything out of you. It's just a release. And so I encourage you that, you know, even if it's, maybe it's not a list, maybe it's just everything you're feeling. Maybe it's a list of whatever you're feeling right now. Maybe it's a list
Yeah.
of everything that you've been through. Maybe it's just a list of, you know, tasks that you want to have done, or, you know, future thinking, whatever it is that you have, sitting down and there's something spiritual about, you know, coming through you into your pen or onto the keyboard and out of you, that, you know, helps to make things happen. So I encourage you to do that.
Wow, I love it. While I was listening to you, I had this exercise that, you know, I actually with my clients, I ask them to do a lot of lists. You know, that's the weird thing.
Mhm.
I one of the ones that I love it is like, what is it that you feel that makes you unique? You know, why are you lovable, and the great things that makes you extraordinary. Because for women specifically, for everybody, but I believe that for us it's harder, just to look at us without judgment and without trying to change something about us, like, oh, I have extra fat here, I want bigger lips, or you know,
Exactly.
oh my goodness, this is so saggy, you know, all the things. And start making the list that makes you such a great woman, the woman you are. So
Mhm.
you were talking about lists, and I love it because it's true how much a list can help you understand and actually feel more powerful. feel
Yeah.
more relief and feel like more peaceful, and actually start loving yourself more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I
it's that
love it.
whole, right, the self-care rock star, right? It's getting that self-love, to keeping your cup filled to overflowing. And then yeah, so it's that whole self-love.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We always end in the same place. It's all about love, right? It's all
Absolutely.
about
There you
love.
go.
Thank you, Sally, for being here with us. And, again, get this book home,
Go
get
get
it done, and
it.
read all the chapters. And if you buy it on Amazon, don't forget to add your review, because we want this to get to everybody. This is
Yep.
like it's not a Bible, because we don't talk about the Bible like get shit done. But basically, it's kind of the Bible for humans that wants to improve in all levels of their lives. And this is a great book. So go get it now. Get in action. Get shit done.
Absolutely, right. Become an action taker. Do it.
Yes, an action taker. So thank you again. I love you very much. We had a great time in Vegas. We got to do it again. But what
Absolutely.
happened in Vegas is stay in Vegas.
There we go.
Okay, bye everyone. We'll see you again.
Thank you.